One night, when I found that she'd come back quietly from London, I thought that Favell was with her. And I knew then that I couldn't stand this life of filth and deceit any longer. I decided to come down here and have it out with both of them. But she was alone. She was expecting Favell, but he hadn't come. She was lying on the divan, a large tray of cigarette stubs beside her. She looked ill, queer. Suddenly she got up, started to walk toward me. When I have a child, she said, neither you nor anyone else could ever prove it wasn't yours. You'd like to have an heir, wouldn't you, Max, for your precious Mandalay? And she started to laugh. How funny. How supremely, wonderfully funny. I'll be the perfect mother, just as I've been the perfect wife. No one will ever know. It ought to give you the thrill of your life, Max, to watch my son grow bigger day by day, and to know that when you die, Mandalay will be his. She was face to face with me. One hand in her pocket, the other holding a cigarette. She was smiling. Well, Max, what are you going to do about it? Aren't you going to kill me? I suppose I went mad for a moment. I must have struck her. She stood staring at me. She looked almost triumphant. Then she started toward me again, smiling. Suddenly she stumbled and fell. When I looked down, ages afterwards it seemed, she was lying on the floor. She'd struck her head on a heavy piece of ship's tackle. I remember wondering why she was still smiling. And I realized she was dead.
You'd find a way. How? I mean, suppose you or I, how would you get David out of the way?
No, you're much better at this sort of thing than I am.
No, but what would you do if you or I?
Well, if I wanted to get rid of David, I'd invite him for a drink. At the club or some quiet bar. Or better still, I'd invite him here. And no one would see us together.
Oh, that's good. And no witnesses.
Yes, that's right.
Then what?
Well, let me see. At the appointed time, David would arrive. I'd walk slowly out of the room into the hall and greet him. Tell him how fine he's looking and so forth. And take his hat. And I'd bring him in here, make some small talk to put him at his ease, probably offer him a drink. And then he'd sit down.
Yes?
I'd try to make it all very pleasant, you understand. Philip would probably play the piano. Now, as I recall, David was quite strong. He'd have to be knocked out. So I'd move quietly around behind the chair and hit him on the head with something. His body would fall forward on the floor.
Then where would you put him?
Well, let me see. Well, I think I'd get Philip to help me carry him out of the room, down the back stairs, and the two of us would put him into the car.
You'd be seen.
What?
Well, you said yourself that if anything did happen, it must have happened in broad daylight.
Oh, that's right. I'd forgotten.